So there's plenty of reasons to learn legal history.
Yes.
And it's great that you mentioned the connection between legal history and politics, and we will come after that later. I have some special questions in that topic for you. However, the Byzantine Empire has a major position in your work. We Serbs were both part of and neighbors to it for a great period of time. And what do you consider to be the most important influence of the Byzantine Empire to its neighboring countries during the medieval period?
Listen, the Byzantine period is a historical period that I adore. That's why I have studied it as history, as institutions, as law. Greeks and Serbs are very near. They were for many centuries under the same authorities, Byzantines first, Ottoman afterwards. And Byzantine Empire has given many, many things to the inhabitants of the empire or to their neighbors. You know, sometimes they were neighbors, sometimes they were in the frontiers of the empire. But now we speak about the neighbors, Serbian neighbors and Byzantine Empire.
Yes.
So, first of all, I must tell you that Byzantine Empire gave many things to Serbians in culture. First of all, the way of life, religious, everything that is books, translations, many, many things. So in the field of civilization, there are many, many things that were done together, Empire, Byzantine, and Serbs. And because ancient Serbs had different civilization from their neighbors. Little by little, they became Christians. They had the culture and so on. Also, the Byzantine Empire gave many things to the Serbian state in institutions. Many institutions, good institutions, that were applied in the Byzantine Empire, little by little, were a model for the Serbian state. And, of course, they had all these organizations that were for the state, and there was a collaboration between the two neighbors. So I think that in public law, in government, and in civilization, Byzantium and Serbia worked together, and there was an influence of the Byzantine Empire to the Serbian state.
I chose some of the topics from the Byzantine history because you pretty much covered the whole Byzantine period. So
I tried.
Yes, it was really hard for me to choose one topic, but I chose one that I do personally like, but I find it important because of something we can learn from it. I'm talking about the iconoclastic period and what can we learn from the church-state relations from Byzantine, and how do we use the best, how do we make the best of that knowledge in era of secularization. We know, for example, that it was certainly good for the Orthodox Church that the iconoclasm haven't prevailed, that it lost in historical sense. And was it also good for the Byzantine state? And what were the relations between church and state like? And what are the similarities and differences in, let's say, today's Christian countries?
Big question. Big question with many, many things to say. Iconoclasm is a very difficult but very interesting area of the history of Byzantium. The main was that the state interfered in the church. This was the policy of the state at that time, was to change the worship of the icons, and this was not something that belonged to the state. This was church policy. But the state interfered and wanted to impose its policy to the church, where the church reacted. And finally, we know that in 842 we have the restoration of the icons. That is, the church gained this war. And I think that from that time on, it was a good lesson that the state must not interfere to the ecclesiastical cases. This, I think, must exist until today. That is, they are separate, the state and the church, of course, and in Byzantine. And in nowadays states, church is an organization, an institution of a state, and it works according to the laws of the state in which they are and they work. They cannot be outside these laws. That is, the Serbian church or the Greek church cannot do things that are different from what the laws of the country say. Of course, they have their own ecclesiastical law, but it's for the internal life of the church, the relations between clergymen and the likes, those who believe, who belong to the church, and the clergymen, and it's their internal way of life, and this is the canons, the laws of the church. This is their own field. But on the other hand, since they live in a state, they have to apply the law of the state. This is what we know from Byzantium. This passed to nowadays countries, little by little, and I think that our churches are organized like that.